Howdy, folks. Y'all want some moonshine? Maybe a little bit of...
Well, a G-man, G-man, a revenues too, searching for the place.
Welcome back, everyone. It's your friendly neighborhood Stillman here. One of the questions I used to get asked, not a lot, but a fair amount, not so often anymore, but do we make moonshine? No, we do not make moonshine. Why is that? Well, moonshine, by definition, is any illegally made spirit. Doesn't have to be from corn, even though that's typically what you're going to see, corn, sugar. Often people think it's always found in the backwoods, which is where you usually find it, but a lot of people make it in their kitchen too. You can make it pretty much anywhere. The big thing is that it is not from a registered distillery. You're not paying taxes, so it's illegal. That's all moonshine is. That stuff you get, it tastes like apple pie in a fancy little jar in the liquor store. Ain't moonshine. Whatever your cousin Eddie brought to your Christmas, probably not moonshine. It's probably Everclear that he spiced up with something. But I can assure you, with how often the government, how often other folks are dipping their fat fingers into our pockets, that we do not make moonshine. We are registered and track everything we make and have to pay a lot of money to other people. I have feelings about that, if you couldn't tell. But no, we do not make moonshine. Have I ever made moonshine? Yes and no. Before I started this up, I started playing around at home in the kitchen. And so technically, yeah, that was moonshine. Although it was only a little couple gallon still, made from a converted pressure cooker. It makes zero sense to get into distilling without having some idea of what you're doing and how to create the flavors you're after. So technically, I may have made moonshine in the past. I wasn't selling it though, so not likely to get in trouble, even though I just told on myself, which is one of the first rules about moonshine, is don't tell anybody. Anyway, so no. You cannot buy moonshine anywhere legally. It's in the store, it's not moonshine. Doesn't matter what kind of cute little jar it comes in, or what the label says, what the backstory is. That's one of my favorites. Even a brand like Templeton Rye, you guys remember them? I don't know how many people, when I worked in the liquor store, would come in and try to pass off the story as their own, where they said they learned about Templeton when they were in Iowa and they had to stash their money under a rock or some nonsense and come back later and find a jar tucked in a fence post or tree trunk or some other BS. But that story was on the Templeton website. Like, they were telling me straight copy from the website of the company. It was always amusing. I don't know who they're trying to fool. And you see that a lot with distilleries. People always have like, oh, this is my great-great-grandpappy's recipe. We come from a long history of distillers, and most of it's bullshit. I'm proud to say I'm first-generation distiller from the kitchen. I have a lot of respect for people that do come from a long line of stuff, and I have a lot of respect for actual moonshiners taking that chance and risk to make their spirits. But no, by first generation, learned on my own. No one ever really learns on their own. I learned from a lot of different resources. People ask like how I learned all this stuff, and Google Google and YouTube. Those are the schools I went to. You can learn pretty much anything you want that way. No history of distilling in my family that I'm aware of, though my last name is Kessler. We have no ties to that lovely whiskey. But I did learn that Kessler comes from the old German for kettle. So it would seem I was born to do this. Either that or make potato chips or something. But what else do I got to say about moonshine? People think moonshine makes you go blind. Moonshiners are typically from small communities, and they're very proud of the stuff they make. They're not going to poison their neighbors and friends and customers, more importantly, with subpar spirits. They're very proud of what they make, and they try to make good, clean cuts and stuff that tastes good, even though it's very potent. During Prohibition, we hear all these stories about people going blind. Was actually, guess who? The federal government was denaturing alcohol and adding methanol and such to it to make it so you couldn't drink it. Did that stop anybody? No. A lot of people drinking it weren't aware that they were drinking denatured alcohol, because you could still get it in bulk if you had the right resources. And then people would bottle and sell that as legitimate spirits, and killed a lot of people, injured a lot of people. Yeah. Thank you, Uncle Sam, for that. If you just let people have the things they want, we wouldn't have had so many problems with that. And so talking about all that, have a happy 4th, everyone. Way things are looking, could be the last. I'm trying not to get into politics too much here, but we used to have kings, right? We used to be a colony of England, and we said enough of that. We don't like that way, so things got a little dicey for a while, and then we ended up with this country. And now this country is turning into what we used to be and what we ran away from. Have a happy 4th. Blow some stuff up. Don't blow your fingers off. Be careful. Don't drink and drive. Anything else in my notes? No. That's all I got. See you next time. I'm going to go put on some more comfortable clothes now. Bye.